Here's one of the problems I have with BMI. According to BMI, I'm overweight. I'm 5'9" and about 185 pounds, which gives me a BMI of roughly 27.3. And according to the BMI chart, that puts me in the overweight category. But there's a pretty big problem with that. BMI has absolutely no idea what 185 pounds is made of. It doesn't know how much is muscle. It doesn't know how much is body fat. And that's where BMI starts becoming a problem. Hey guys, welcome back to Kinetix Performance Coaching, your home for information on strength, nutrition, and longevity. Today I want to talk about BMI, and specifically, is BMI BS? My answer is, kind of. BMI does have a purpose, but it's actually incredibly simple. It's basically a mathematical relationship between your height and your weight. That's it. And we're asking that number to tell us a whole lot more than it actually knows. BMI doesn't know how much muscle you have. It doesn't know your body fat percentage. It doesn't know where you carry that body fat. It doesn't know your visceral fat numbers. And it doesn't know whether the weight you gained was muscle or fat. And that distinction matters. So take me for example. I'm 5'9" and around 185 pounds. That puts me at a BMI of around 27.3, which is overweight. Now imagine I spend the next year training hard and put on another 5 pounds of muscle, and now I weigh 190 pounds. Maybe I'm stronger. Maybe my body fat percentage stays low. My waist stays controlled. My visceral fat actually stays low. My overall body composition may actually be better, but because I weigh more, my BMI gets worse. According to BMI, I've moved farther in the wrong direction, even though physiologically, I may have moved exactly in the right direction. And that's the problem. BMI sees weight. It doesn't see what that weight actually represents. But there's another side to this that I think is actually more important. Because someone can have a perfectly normal BMI and still have relatively low muscle mass. They can still have a higher body fat percentage than we'd like, and they may be still carrying way too much abdominal or visceral fat. What I want to know is, how much lean mass do you actually have? How much body fat do you have? And where are you carrying that fat? What does your visceral fat look like? And how strong are you? I want to know, what direction are those numbers moving over time? Because someone can lose weight and lose too much muscle along with it. Somebody else can gain weight, but while building muscle and improving their body composition. So the number on the scale doesn't tell us the whole story, and neither does BMI. Now, does that mean that BMI is completely useless? No. And I think we have to be fair about that. BMI can be useful as a quick screening, especially when we're looking at large groups of people. So I'm not saying the formula itself is absolute nonsense. What I'm saying is that we're actually evaluating the individual person. We have a much better information available when we look at body fat percentage, lean mass, visceral fat, waist measurements, strength, performance, and how all those things are changing over time. So when I say that BMI is BS, what I really mean is BMI is BS when we ask it to answer questions that was never designed to answer. It cannot tell me whether you're muscular. It cannot tell me whether you're under muscled. It cannot tell me what your weight is actually made of. So don't let one number on a BMI chart define whether you think you're healthy, unhealthy, fit, or unfit. Know your body composition. Know your lean mass. Know your body fat. Know your visceral fat. And use that information to make better decisions about your training, your nutrition, and your health. And that's where I come in. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being here with Kinetix Performance Coaching, your home for information on strength, nutrition, and longevity. And if you want to understand what the numbers on the DEXA scan actually mean, check out my free DEXA Quick Start Guide in the link below. And I'll see you next time.